Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Hope you are having a great day. I'm really excited for this interview because I absolutely love this lady. You know how lots of people, like we all know lots of people, and there are just some people that make a real lasting impact, and that's this lady. I feel like God nudges her at all of the right times, and she follows those nudges, and she'll send me a text or a Facebook message with encouragement. And when I asked her to do this interview, her comment was like, of course I want to do it. I get more time with you. And I'm just like, oh. So Dr. Blair, welcome, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So our topic today is the importance of metrics. And one thing that I love about Blair is every single week, at the end of every month, Dr. Shauna McLean, who is an OG boot camper, makes a list. And there's one of your fans. Hi, Blair. Makes a post in our bootcamp private Facebook group and is like, share your victories. And without fail, Blair always chimes in, and instead of like her post and her congratulations to herself being like, yay, we have more new practice members, or we earned more money, she's got like, we increased our income by 24.17259%. And it's really cool to see that she's focused in on her metrics. So tell us that story. What prompted you to and Jeannie Hone is who said hi. What prompted you to keep such great stats, and what have you noticed, like pre-stats, post-stats?
Well, I mean, definitely some of the encouragement of things that you talked about, where if we're not measuring it, then we don't know where it's going. And I felt like I was very much like on a whim beforehand, and like my feelings were fluctuating constantly because I wasn't sure if it was things that I was growing, or certain days it was just like an up and down all the time, and I just felt like I was very irregular in my feelings until I started really tracking things. So I created a spreadsheet, and at the end of my day, it was part of my day like closing, where I just record my stats from the day in that spreadsheet so that I can look at daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly stats combined and how it compares to different years.
I love that. And what are you noticing now that you focus on it? Like, are you more intentional about your service, about your communication, about being grounded? What's changed in your practice since you've been more intentional with your stats?
I definitely feel more grounded for sure, but I also feel a lot more intentional about like, how am I talking to people? What am I saying to them? Am I focusing on the right things, or am I focusing, on the things that need to be said and be present and totally be with them, rather than focusing on just how I was feeling, and being fully present with that person and serving them and being present in what they need and getting what I need elsewhere and outside of that time.
Nice. I love that. Getting our personal needs met outside our practice.
Yes, you say it much better.
We talk about that a lot in the boot camp. And for those of you who aren't aware of the conversation that we have in the boot camp, like consider this, like consider the last time you were around somebody who's really needy. Whether they're needy because they have a victim mentality, or they're needy just like they're just needy. And that's typically not like a high vibrational frequency. We don't typically run to the person who is needy and complaining and woe is me. So what happens in practice when we come to our table, our adjusting table, if we have not been intentional to get our own personal needs met, the need to be liked, the need to be right, the need to be heard, the need to be loved, the need to touch, the need, like all of these needs, which aren't wrong. But if I come to my table needing that from you as my practice member, that's a low vibrational frequency. So if we look at quantum physics, in order to balance that out, they have to energetically donate energy. So you can imagine it doesn't feel great to pay you for your chiropractic adjustment, and now energetically I'm donating energy. And so I love this, the fact that, and I typed it out here, while it's true that we're not our numbers, right? Like chiropractic, we love to like wear our volume number, right? It could be that we're completely broke, but at least we can talk about our volume, right? While it's true we're not our numbers, we are business owners. And as business owners, we have a duty, a responsibility, and an obligation to track to keep track and measure and monitor our metrics, right? Our stats, how many new practice members, how many adjustments, and really and truly that even though those tell a story about where we've been, they also, we can look at them to predict where we're going to go, right? And if you marry your stats with the daily success sheet, now we know the exact recipe for these stats. You know, this many points on the referral section, this many points on testimonials. What do you notice happens in your practice when you're in on a 90-day sprint team, which we're coming up with? Our next sprint is going to be 60 days, and it's starting. I have all my like calendar right here on my wall. So the next sprint starts on September the 19th. If you're in the boot camp, teams are going to form September the 12th, and we're going to get started September the 19th. We're going to race hard for 60 days and end the year strong. So what has happened in your practice during these sprints?
The sprints are just awesome. It's probably one of my favorite things because you get not only the connection that you have with the weekly calls with the boot camp and with you, but we also get an additional coach where we get to work on specific goals and particular things, and we're staying really grounded, and we have particular tasks not only for each day but also keeping us like focused on the things that we need that are going to help us to grow our practice. And it just gives you this huge momentum to start the year because they've always been in January, and I'm excited to have some to finish the year as well. I think it's going to be really great to go into the holiday season just knowing that everything is taken care of, and it's just been a ton of fun, and that it's, you know, we're just enjoying the group and continuing to grow.
Yes. And you know, I've had some boot campers say, you know, there are a lot of times that maybe I wouldn't ask for a referral or I wouldn't ask for a review or a testimonial, but like, I don't want to let my team down. And so there's this like fun, and a lot of us in the boot camp, somebody said, I'm so pumped for the second sprint. I know, I can't wait. You know, it's kind of like, not that we want to let ourselves down, but like just knowing we're part of a team, right? Which actually is human nature, that God designed us to be pack animals. God designed us to be in community. So when we get on their 60-day sprint team, there's just that much more encouragement to do what we know to do what we know is necessary. And for those of you who are unaware of what the sprint is, as God would have it, before COVID, he just kind of like nudged me to create the 90-day sprint challenge. And I just put it together, and I looked at like, what are the foundational things that we often like stop doing because they work so well in our practices, but we all say like, I wish I was doing these. And so I created a point system that everybody in the 90-day sprint would keep track of their own points. And it's all things that we need to do. It's all like, you know, new practice member tour and asking for referrals and asking for reviews and team training and all of these things. And so the cool thing is that we had created all of this momentum literally starting in January of 2020, ending in March, right as COVID hit. And all of these practices went into lockdown with tremendous amount of energy and tremendous momentum. And the most common byproduct that happens is that people double their practices. Like, we're focusing on stats. Like, you have to turn in your stats in order to help your team get points, and you have to contribute, and it has to be grounded. And so it's just such a beautiful thing. So it worked so well that we did it again in 2021, and we did it again this year. And then as I was looking at the year in review, I'm like, you know what? We need something for the end of the year to kind of go from somewhere where everything is maybe a little bit like more loosey-goosey because we're enjoying our kids and it's summer, and like bringing us back to focus to have that momentum to finish the year strong, then have a blast at Christmas with no guilt and no reservation if you take time off between Christmas and New Year's or more, knowing that I've got the sprint waiting for me on the other side. Once I get back and I get reestablished again, here I am again. What have you noticed is the thing when you talk about the boot camp? What do you always comment about the boot camp that you love so much?
Oh, there's so many things I love about the boot camp. I absolutely, love your energy and the things that you bring into it, and the environment that you've created it's so open and it's so inviting to everyone, and everyone's a part of it. It doesn't matter if your practice is, just starting out, if it's been in practice for 30 years, it doesn't matter where you're at, how you practice. There are some foundational things that you give us that help to grow and to do that, but it doesn't have the rigidity that some of the other ones do. And it's just so much fun, and it just creates such a loving and fun environment that you get to really play and learn off so many more people because of that flexibility.
Yes. I and this, that I love everyone to be included. It breaks my heart for anyone to feel like they're on the sidelines wanting to participate. Now, if they're in the sidelines and they're not choosing to step forward, that's way different. And so everyone's included in the boot camp. I don't want anyone to be left out, whether it's at our live event or it's just in the boot camp. There isn't this hierarchy that Blair's been here longer and she and Barbara are also friends, that she's more important than somebody else. It just doesn't work like that. And so I love the inclusivity of our tribe versus the exclusivity that is really common, not only in our profession, but in life in general, the high school cliques, right? The popular group. Well, we don't have a popular group in the boot camp. We're all on the same playing field, and we all are so excited for one another's success and one another's victories, and we're there to support in the trials, as well as scream and cheer and yell in the great times. As you're a part of, we have recently started a prayer circle. Talk about that.
That's been a lot of fun. The idea behind it was so great, and there's so many wonderful and amazing things other than just our trainings. We've got breath work, and we've got other options for grounding, and there's so many different places that you can connect in the boot camp, and the prayer group is one of them. And it's just been so fantastic having that small intimate group of women that you can bounce ideas off of. You can ask for prayers, you can celebrate the triumphs and all the things that kind of come and go with the natural ebb and flow of life, but also with practice. And it's just been super fun to be able to lean on that and really dig into having connections with these women on just a deeper level.
And I just love everyone's authenticity. None of us are coming with ego or bravado. We're just showing up and saying, here I am, I want to serve and I want to be served. I've always prayed for my children, Lord, let them be blessed as they are a blessing. I don't want to just, our pastor talks about this, that don't just be a consumer, contribute. Right. And I think that in society nowadays, where it's so much about what can you do for me? Take. But let's also remember there's a contribution. And I love the fact that I always tell new boot campers, ask any question in the boot camp Facebook page, and I'll try my best to be the first one to answer, but I can probably guarantee you there's going to be 30 other boot campers who jump in and want to support you. And I always tell them, you also have a responsibility. Don't just consume. Everybody has something to contribute. Even if you're a student or you're new to practice, there's something valuable within you, because we're all brains. We just have different packaging. So speak to our Facebook group, and how is our Facebook group different? Because there are lots of Facebook groups where you can post questions. What's different about the Bootcamp Facebook group?
It's just a whole different mentality because you get to see these people on the live calls every week and you get to interact with them in your smaller groups with the prayer groups and with the 90-day sprint groups. Like, you get to know them and you become friends with them. I actually was at a conference a couple of weeks ago and there was a boot camper that I had only seen, but I finally got to meet and like sit
Yay.
next to and talk to. And I sat next to her for the entire day and it was super fantastic and wonderful. And she was just very inviting and welcoming. And like, I was drawn right to that immediately. And the Facebook group is the exact same. Like, everyone is right there to help you through anything, whether it's question related, whether it's, clinical stuff, whether it's personal stuff, whether it's business stuff. It doesn't matter what's going on. They just want to be there to support you and to love on you and to be your friends. And it's been super fantastic to have that community no matter where I am in life.
Yes. We always know that there's a tribe member standing by. Right. And what a blessing that is. That's for sure. So as we sign off, what last words do you want people to know? And just for those of you who are in the audience now or later, if you're wanting to, like, hey, this boot camp thing sounds really great. Like, how do I find out more? How do I become involved? I am going to put a link in here for you, and let's jump on a call and get to know one another. Reach out to Brooke or I'm 100%. I mean, Blair, I'm 100% confident that Dr. Blair, if you reached out to her, she's going to be happy to talk on the phone with you and just meet you where you are. And if that means jumping on a call with me to see what the boot camp is like, or maybe it means coming to one of our live events. Our next live event is in Nashville. It's the Ultimate Marketing Boot Camp. And the longer I'm in this position as coach and mentor and leader within our profession, I recognize that we really beat ourselves up in terms of assuming we know things just because we're successful in practice. Like, we open a business, we become chiropractors, we graduate. And somewhere we get this idea that, as long as I want to serve the world, then I'll know how to do business. Not true, right? Like, we had to even be taught how to wipe our own butts before we knew how to do that, right? So it's the same thing in practice, but we hold ourselves to a standard that I should know how to do it, even though we haven't learned, right? And then our practices get busier, and so we bring people on, and then we suddenly act as if we're like we know how to be a leader. Not true. That's not true at all. We are employers, and so we hold ourselves to this standard that is unrealistic simply because we don't know how. And like we hold ourselves to a standard that we know how to be connectors, that we know how to be network marketers, that we know how to do all of this stuff, and we haven't been trained. And so that's another thing at the Ultimate Marketing Bootcamp is I'm going to walk you through how do we look back at our year and review from a business and entrepreneurial lens, from a profitability lens, from a time efficiency lens. Like, how do I look and properly evaluate what my business has been like this year? And then we're going to take that knowledge and apply it to 2023 and crafting our 12-month marketing calendar and crafting our strategy to move us forward in effortless success. So that event is happening in Nashville. There's a maximum of 40 individuals. I haven't like put out the landing page yet so that you can register, but I encourage you to be watching for that. Grab a spot. They're going to go fast. Some of them have already been taken for private coaching clients. It will be a really wonderful time of experience. I am leading it in a brain-centric design way. So that's in the neuroscience of communication and learning, which makes it all about the listener. It's not about me as the speaker. It's all about all of you. And there's going to be lots of active participation so that when you leave Nashville, like, I've got all of that done. I don't have a bunch of work to do. I'm set. I'm ready to enjoy Christmas with my family, New Year's, and start the year out strong. So as we wrap this up, Blair, what final words do you want to offer to everyone?
Just remember that, no matter where you are, that everything it's going to be okay. Like, God has got it. He is got a plan for us. He's ready for what's coming next. And there is a community within the boot camp that is ready and is there to support you. So come check it out. Join us. Get on your call with Dr. Barb and really see what it's all about and how that community can help to support you.
Yes. And thank you so much, Dr. Blair. Thanks to each of you who joined us today. If this meant something to you, take action. Don't just like walk away from this and not do something about it. If there's a way in which I can help you or Blair, please reach out to us. You are not alone unless you choose to be. And God bless you all. Have a wonderful evening. See ya.